Streetwear is constantly evolving. If you're not keeping up, you're falling behind. In 2025, biggest brands aren't just about hype, they're built on actual strategies. Too many streetwear brands are making costly mistakes that will definitely kill your growth. So today, I want to break down some of the worst mistakes that you need to avoid if you want to stay relevant and profitable. Many brands have thrived on the allure, right, of exclusivity. Like, they bank on limited drops to actually generate a lot of buzz. However, this strategy can backfire. When overused, it risks basically pushing away those loyal customers who feel like they're always left out and they can get their hands on the product. So instead of creating a community, it starts to breed frustration among your customers. So a lot of brands generate initial excitement, but tend to collapse because they lack a long-term strategy for their brand beyond their hype or doing drops. So compare that to something like maybe like Fear of God, right? They balance limited releases with staple collections. So they ensure that their brand is still accessible while still maintaining that desirability, right? That factor that made them very unique, which is like, it's hard to get, but at the same time, giving the customer a little bit of what they want with some staple pieces. So to build this sustainable brand, focus on creating quality products that are constantly available, ensuring that you cater both to new and returning customers. Now, this deadly mistake is actually, it's hard to even find some examples of streetwear specific brands doing this, but today customers, they're more environmentally conscious than ever before. And I believe that brands that overlook sustainable practices risk being labeled as irresponsible. This actually happened to Gymshark, and Gymshark, they're not a streetwear brand, but again, it's kind of hard to find some examples here, but it happened to Gymshark, right? Like, it can lead to potential boycotts, it can lead to a loss of sales, and many streetwear brands have struggled with sustainability efforts. You have brands like Off-White, Palm Angels, they face scrutiny over their production methods. While there's some like Pangea or Story Manufacturing have made sustainability their core selling point. And again, some of these brands, they may not be what you consider like your everyday streetwear brand, but again, it's hard to find some examples of streetwear brands who are like really taking head on sustainability as sort of like their core selling proposition. Even some of the bigger brands, right? Like Nike, Adidas, like they've started to integrate things with, you know, some of their items with the recycled materials into their actual sneaker lines. But particularly for Nike, the Move to Zero initiative, and Adidas a while back did some shoes with like recycled plastic from the oceans, which again, good initiatives, but at the same time, they just fall very short to what customers truly want nowadays, right? So they're integrating eco-friendly materials or ensuring that you're using ethical manufacturing processes into your operations. Like, those are the things that are to me, like, they're definitely going to move the needle for your brand. So not only is it going to appeal to the modern consumer nowadays, but it also positions your brand as a more like a forward-thinking leader, right, in this industry, especially the fact that a lot of streetwear brands just don't pay attention to this. And I think that this is something, it's important nowadays, and it's going to be even more important in the future. So something to consider. Hey, I'm Christian Pignon, one of the co-founders here at Bear Branding. We specialize in helping clothing brands scale online. We've served over 300 clothing brands in the last year alone. I would appreciate if you like and subscribe so you don't miss out any of our latest content. Now, this mistake is I think I have it here as like you're relying too much on like one or the other. It's either like you rely too much on the third-party retailers, or maybe you over-rely on direct-to-consumer, right? Like, going full on one of these is a mistake. I think having a good blend of both is truly what customers want. You have brands like Supreme or Babe who build their reputation through exclusivity in physical stores, right? But you have newer players like Represent or Cortez, like they have shown that DTC e-commerce can truly skyrocket your brand's growth. When Cortez drops, they sell out in minutes, all through their website and social media, not relying on any retailer or anything like that. Something else about Cortez, and I would encourage you to look them up if you haven't. They're a streetwear brand from the UK, but they do really well with like the more the guerrilla marketing tactics, which I think that's where a lot of streetwear brands nowadays, like they tend to go directly through Shopify. They open up a store and they just kind of want to make sales. But I think part of the allure of streetwear brands is incorporating a little bit more of that guerrilla marketing, something that you just don't see every day when it comes to clothing brands. Now, by developing both, right, the physical presence and the direct-to-consumer channels, you can literally engage directly with your audience. You can gather valuable data. You can increase profit margins. I would say yes. Right nowadays, it's very important to heavily rely on direct-to-consumer and have a robust platform like Shopify and create compelling content on social media to drive traffic and conversions. But incorporating that with the guerrilla marketing tactics, with the ability to be in physical stores or physical pop-up shops, those things are going to make your brand stand out from the rest. Another big mistake is brands that remain rigid in their approaches, right? They tend to get left behind. You can look at iconic streetwear brands back in the day, like Ed Hardy, Von Dutch, like they dominated for a while, but they failed to evolve with shifting tastes. And that's the thing with streetwear brands. It's like you have to stay on top of what's hot right now without deviating too much away from your core audience, right? You have brands like Stussy that have remained relevant for decades by continuously reinventing their style while maintaining their core identity, which is very, very important. Got to stay informed about industry trends, consumer preferences, technological advancements, like social media. Like I would say, we've actually talked to brands. We actually talked to streetwear brands who they're not even on TikTok, and we're like, I don't even like it. Trends change so much and so fast lately that you have to be constantly on social media in order to be prepared to pivot your strategies depending and explore new things, right? Depending on what's going on, what's happening on social media channels, because that's really what's driving growth right now. Also, be open to adopting new technologies and new things that they come out and reimagining your product lines based on, again, trends within the culture. Hey, before we move on, I just want to say that if you are a clothing brand owner and want to jump into the specifics of your brand and how to grow it profitably, then you can schedule a free 45-minute strategy session with us. Spots are limited, but you can check out a time in the description link below. Now, building a streetwear brand isn't just about selling product. And I would say for any brand out there, right, it's not ever about just selling product. It's about actually fostering a community. And brands that fail to engage with their audience, they miss out on invaluable feedback and loyalty from their customers. So leveraging social media platforms to interact authentically with your followers needs to be a main priority. Like it's very hard for you to, and especially with drop shipping, it's very easy, I would say. It's very easy to set up a shop and call it a day, but that part is easy, right? Creating a product and creating a website and showcasing your product, that's easy. That's in an hour you can be up and running with the tools that are out there right now. But building a brand, that's different. And that's the hard part. And that's the mistake that a lot of people tend to do. It's like they think that if you build it, they will come. And that's not true. If you build it, you're gonna have a website and that's about it. You're not gonna get people in if you're not building a community around it. So, and a lot of times it takes hustle. It takes you going to events. It takes you hosting actual events, collaborating with local artists, creating spaces both online and offline where your community feels valued and heard and you can actually engage with them, right? You have brands like The Hundreds that they have successfully built a loyal following and they prioritize culture and storytelling over just making products. I would say the streetwear landscape in 2025 rewards brands that think beyond short-term hype. The most successful brands are balancing exclusivity with accessibility, they're adopting sustainability, they're owning their sales channel, and they're staying adaptable and engaging deeply with their community. So avoid these mistakes and your brand will have the staying power for years to come. Now, if you're thinking, hey, Christian, I love these things, but I want a little bit more tactical. I want a little bit more actionable things that I can do for my brand. If that's the case, then I would encourage you to watch this video next where I'm breaking down some streetwear brands for you. Go check it out.